Hi there, hope everyone's had a great week. This is another video we put on the Biomechanics Academy page. This is an interesting case. It's a lady who came to me because she was very, very concerned about her new gait. And what I mean by new gait is that she's just had a total knee replacement, as you can see from the longitudinal scar. Now that knee was arthritic, she was in an awful lot of pain obviously to go for a total knee replacement, and is now out of pain for that knee, but is starting to develop lower back pain and aches in various parts of her body because she's now been left with an enormous difference in leg length. As you can see there, she has a raised platform of 17 mil underneath that leg. I didn't see her before the surgery, so I can't tell you her biomechanics before the surgery because I hadn't seen her. So I can't tell you if there was any kind of asymmetry in leg length there now before, but there is a big structural leg length now. So she claims that post-surgery she's been left with a longer right leg. When they put that prosthetic in, it's made that leg longer, and she was not happy at all. Her life was completely changed because her gait was altered. She was dropping and drifting to the left. She was starting to develop musculoskeletal aching, which hadn't quite developed into any pathology, but she was not happy because basically her gait in her life had been ruined by the fact that she's limping everywhere. So this is interesting because in order to level her sacral base, on the pressure plate she had to lift her left heel. So you can just see there through the image that she is on her toes. And on the pressure plate here, you can see the pressure building underneath the first ray there, where the peak pressure is. The right foot is completely on the ground, it's plantigrade, but the left is on its toes. So she has to walk around on her tiptoes to level her pelvis to ease the discomfort in the back. So this is a pressure plate analysis where she is completely plantigrade on both sides. Yes, there's a little bit of asymmetry in pressure there, but the point here is that she has to flex the right knee by rather a lot in order to put the feet on the ground. So she either walks around on her tippy toes to level the pelvis, or she has to flex the knee to level the pelvis. Now, at this angle, it completely compromises any kind of stability within that limb, and will put a great deal of pressure on that knee, especially the anterior knee, depending on what's happening with the calves and the hamstrings and quads. But this is far from an ideal way to walk, because if she did, or rather if her body found that the most efficient way for her to go through her gait was to flex that right knee, then she would probably flex it even more, develop a fixed flexion deformity, and she would end up with a functionally short leg on that right side long term, and that would be far from ideal because she'd develop all kinds of other issues. So I just thought I would share my prescription with you. So on here, what I've done, as you can see on the prescription, I put 3 degrees on the rear foot. Now, why have I put 3 degrees on the rear foot? Well, I didn't put a big angle because I don't know what subtalar neutral is, and nor am I interested, and nor can you really measure subtalar neutral and find the axis in a static posture when you're doing your assessment. Axes of motion only appear when joints are moving anyway, and I'm not a follower of routine mechanics. I just use a bit of common sense, use some observational skills to say, is she going over on an ankle? Do I need to support the medial arch? Do I need to support the first ray, etc.? So I just thought sensibly, as an experienced practitioner, 3 degrees of rear foot would neither push her over on her ankle or put too much pressure on the medial column. So she quite liked the 3 degrees. Note there's no post on the right, and I'll explain why when you can see images of the orthotics in a minute. And I used assessment boards and pieces of paper, and once I found that the sacral base was level and she was happy and felt as though the forces were more even between the legs, I placed 17 millimeter rays on that left side. But I also put 5 mil in the forefoot that was ground down in the lab, so there was nothing under the toes. Now, I wouldn't normally put 5 mil in the forefoot, but She has the type of shoes that would accommodate it. We did trial it several times with different races, and we found that this worked for as long as right underneath the toes it was ground down to nothing. So in effect, she's walking around on a platform that is a gradient from the rear foot to the forefoot, and that works really well. I also put Pour On as a memory foam under the arch on that left side, so if there was extra weight on that medial arch, it would decelerate it and it would push back, but it would hold the arch of the orthotic more to the point. So these are the visuals on the completed orthotics. She obviously came to us because Sub4 has its own lab. These were made bespoke on the day while she was there, so it was a good 2 or 3 hours that she was with us, but the end result was really good. And you can see there the difference in height. Now, don't go off the height here. We measure through the center of the heel with calipers to get the 17 mil. So you can see underneath here, you can see a kind of side view, you can see a rear view here. Now, why is this one short and why is that one long? Well, this is short because I don't want anything at all under the toes. That's already a very long leg. But here, I can put a gradient that goes all the way from the back, all the way to the front, so that she's got continuity and she would flow through the sagittal plane, improving any sagittal plane facilitation as she rolls off the forefoot, encouraged by the height of that heel. Now you can see her standing on the orthotic. There's a rear view there and a front view. She was really happy. Again, I'm not too concerned about frontal plane correction of the heels. 3 degrees rear foot varus was sensible. She was happy with it, with no other reason than it looked okay, she felt okay, and she walked okay. And that was the last slide. Last commenters, note the shoes. With a 70 mil heel raise and 5 into the forefoot, it would only work with a shoe like this. So she wore this kind of shoe quite a lot. She'd worn them more because she had to kind of throw a big awkward raise in there of a 10 mil to try and help herself that she bought from the chemist. Obviously we've taken that out and improved it with bespoke orthoses. But this type of orthotic would only work with a shoe like that. Don't try and put it into a regular shoe. Well, okay, as a Friday night case study, I hope you found that interesting. It was certainly interesting for me. The lady has been really happy. She was happy on the day. Actually, surprisingly, hasn't been back with any complications. And as far as I know, is walking better, is more comfortable. Long term, we don't know. We're going to keep on reviewing every few months. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to join the Biomechanics Academy group on Facebook. And I've started a new YouTube channel and called the Biomechanics Academy. Please subscribe for more material like this. As usual, give me any comments and feedback and challenges, and I will be happy to attempt to answer them. Thank you for watching and enjoy your weekend.